Okay, this is part two of session one, and I lost track of how much time, so might have elapsed in between doing that last thing. So we have Caith the Cimmerian shaman slash witch who has departed from Fort Ironford, and he is heading. He is heading eastbound away from captivity and hopefully to the border kingdoms where he hopes to find freedom. He just successfully summoned a hawk, spent some momentum to further commune with that hawk once he had gained control over it, for it to assist him and directing him in the best direction to further his escape. And so now we are into session two. Fortunately, we're logged in at 1 hour interviews for recording, but so this is session two, and we're picking up where we left off. And so the hawk does help you get to, you do arrive at the river's edge, and as you get to it, you're starting to look for a place to ford,
Yeah.
and that part of the reason for the name of the fort and this particular area is that there are various outcroppings of stone and in particular some iron ore, and that's a particular area of the river where you could actually ford across the river, um, cutting across the stones that that are normally a little bit easier to spot, but because it is raining, um, and has been for some time, this being the rainy season of autumn,
Yeah.
uh, you're not expecting that the ford might be as fordable as it used to be.
Yeah.
So
Understood. I'm going to cautiously walk along to the east, um,
well,
checking for the
the
rocks.
east is the east is the river. So now
Yeah.
at this point, you're either going to have to travel, northeasterly or southwesterly along the river's, track.
Okay.
Because once
Um,
again, I'll throw the map up in the conversation box on the side here, so you can take a look at that. So again, the river basically runs from, and obviously it flows from north to south. And so on a northeasterly is the track of the river, or some, southwesterly is the way that it's flowing. So
okay.
looking for that ford, um, if you'll notice, I don't know if you brought up the map,
Yeah.
but if you see where that extra red speck is, um, on your side of the river, that's where you believe the ford, at least was before, the heavier swelling. So you do
Oh,
want to travel a ways north, to get there.
okay.
All right. So now you've been gone, easily an hour since since you first left your master behind.
Yeah. I'm going to keep my eyes and ears out,
Hmm.
listening for animals and other things.
Okay. All right, and you do hear in the distance to your south. Well, actually, you haven't told me which way you're traveling.
Well, I was traveling east toward the
Yeah,
ford as
so so
far.
you, yeah, so you're probably traveling more northeast than southwest.
Okay.
All right, so yes, to your southwest, you do hear um, what sounds like guards potentially, potentially looking for you.
Okay. I am going to uh, hurry along the river's edge very
Okay.
quickly. Um, Actually, how strong is the current right here? Is it really strong, or is it got a real strong undertow that I would know about?
I mean, it's not a small river,
No.
so you're not exactly sure, you know.
Uh,
I mean, you're no expert at fording rivers, or although you are,
no.
athletic, so you
Yeah.
you might want to.
I was just looking to see if I could walk in the shallow edge. If this isn't like a steeper
Oh
up,
yeah,
but
yeah. No, you could definitely walk along
and
shallow.
that way I'm not leaving tracks as clearly.
Okay. All right. And you all right, you make a survival roll.
Okie dokie.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had to step away. All
Okay.
right.
I
Uh,
got a success, but just
oh, good.
one.
All right. All right. You do reach the ford. All right. Or you could see where it basically was.
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, once again, you're southwest, you do spot, you know, at least one guard comes towards gets to the river's edge and happens to look in your direction. And although you can't quite hear them, clearly because they are a good distance away,
Yeah.
um, he definitely spotted you, and they're making their way.
I've got no choice but to cross the river now.
Right. So now you're going to make that.
Oh, joy. What triggers a fortune point expenditure?
You could spend fortune points, for basically a reroll.
Okay.
It's almost like a super momentum spend.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to spend a fortune point. and
Okay.
reroll.
All right. Ooh, there you go. You went from
Right.
to
To
two
three
successes
successes.
and a momentum gain.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So you struggle at first, but then on a separate exertion, you do actually ford, and not only ford it well, but you do get to the other side as they're certainly starting to form up.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to hurry to head deeper into the land. Uh, I have hit in the border kingdoms.
Yes, on the other side of the river is the border kingdom.
Okay,
You're not
so
sure how far they might travel, into it or not, but you're
yeah.
certainly further up. You're on the other side of the river now.
Well, I'm going to start heading as deeply as I can into the border kingdoms, looking for a good hiding spot with a shelter that I can hide in.
All right, so that's a survival roll.
Yeah, because I'm not sure how far they will go, and I would rather make it harder for them and make them have to break up to search for me. How does it do this to? Nope, I don't find a good hiding spot. So,
All right, but you are still progressing, you know pretty much deeper into, or what you believe is deeper into the border kingdoms. As long as you're no longer hearing the river, you kind of know that you're certainly not risking crossing back over again.
yeah, no. Okay. Well, I'm going to
Yeah,
step
what
into
I'm
the
gonna
other.
yeah yeah what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna chat a few. I'll type a few things in.
Okay.
Okay, so it's approximately like another hour since you've left the crossed over the river,
Yeah.
and one one group of guards. You're not quite sure how many. At least one uh, has come from the woods, and is you're in a kind of like a semi clearing, and he is coming along on horseback towards you.
Okay. Well, is he coming hurriedly, like charging, or just riding at speed?
He's, I mean, it's still like fairly heavily wooded areas with some gaps here and there. So I mean, he's not like on a full charge,
Okay, so
but
I'm going to
certainly
quickly move into the trees and start weaving around them,
okay.
like angle left for around that tree, and then angle right around one tree, and then angle left around another, and just, zigzag my way away from him, forcing that horse to slow down. Because if it's not road, it's not going to be very happy about moving through that uh, foliage, that the underbrush. So, what do you want me to roll for that?
Well, you're trying to, I guess, shake him.
Yeah.
So that would, I mean, in a sense, that would probably come under. It really doesn't make a difference. It's going to be under agility. So your agility, your stealth, all of that is all the same score anyway. So you're basically just doing an agility check.
Okay. All right.
Ooh, very good. All right. Yeah, so that's two successes.
Yeah. Since
Yeah, no momentum because you have a zero,
yeah, no
basically.
momentum.
So, but still two successes. All right. Even though you think you picked up at least two guards, you've managed to shake them off, or at least you believe so.
Well, I'm going to keep moving. Can't stop.
And that's roughly another hour and a half that you've been traveling.
Yeah. All right. You may want to pause because my dog is
Yeah.
bothering me,
Okay.
and I'm not sure for what. So I will be right back.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that.
No, no problem. Welcome back. All right. So what I put up there is another map. All right. So if you bring up that map, you'll see a map of the border kingdoms, and
Yeah.
you could see where the three borders of like northern Bosonia, you know, which that piece is controlled by the Gunderman, and the lowland fiefdoms. You're
Yeah.
in the region of the lowland fiefdoms
Okay.
at this point. So you've crossed over the river. You've pushed about an hour and a half uh, into the lowland fiefdoms, and you've basically, you basically believe that you've shaken off any any more pursuit at this point.
Okay.
All right, so
Well, I'm gonna try and find some place to that bunk down and rest.
right, yeah, so you're gonna search for some kind of shelter at
Yeah.
this point. So once again, we'll do a um, we'll do a survival,
Yeah.
and you're into a whole new region of that you've never been in before. Normally, if you were in your home country, I would
Yeah.
let you do like a lore, but not unless you. I mean, you could attempt a lore check, but it's definitely going to be a daunting task, but you can give it a try. You do have a 13, so
Yeah. I think I'm
basically
gonna.
what you would need is you would most likely you would need three successes. But you
Well,
could give it a try.
yeah, we're gonna give it a try. Uh,
it
two.
was close,
It was
but
close.
yes, it was close. Two successes. All right, just do a survival.
Okay.
Yeah, you were pretty close to it.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You got the
Uh-huh.
momentum on the survival check.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, you do find an area that you think will be not so easily detectable uh, from uh, from the west. So from
Yeah.
any eyes coming from the west, and it is because it is still kind of hilly kind of area. You do find a spot that will give you some shelter. You're probably on the opposite side of a hill with like a slight overhang,
Yeah.
perhaps an outcropping, not a full blown cave,
No, but
um,
just a
but
little like tiny ledge
right,
that sticks out and a
yes,
crevice in. Yeah.
yeah, so that you can go in there, and you think that you've pretty much managed to give them a slip. So, you know, at this point here, you've actually managed to successfully escape from captivity, um, without any combat, which is, pretty cool. Certainly a way that, I wasn't quite expecting, but that's perfectly fine. And,
I'm a
you know,
smart
yes,
shaman.
well, you used your abilities and everything, to avoid, doing that. You called for the right animal, to meet the need,
Yeah.
because I mean, if you said that you were calling, a wolf or a bear or something along that lines, that you would have been willing to, you know, more willing to
Fight.
attack. Yeah, fight.
Yeah.
you used a fortune point at an opportune time to jump out, and get effective rolls when you needed them the most. So
Yeah.
it was a very good thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into a wrap up, and since this is like new for you and everything,
Yeah.
you can look to see how experience points at the end of a quest is done, or
Um,
a session is done. So you'll find that on pages 299 and 300. And so what we do is gaining experience points. There's no hard and fast table values or formulas for awarding experience. Instead, Conan looks at experience points summarized as XP as part and parcel of an overall narrative. The character gets
yeah.
better at killing things, succeeding at test skills. All right, so for a 4 hour game session, which we actually did about a 2 hour game session.
Yeah.
All right, the players should receive around 100 to 300. So we're going to split that and basically say that you've gained, I'm going to say 200. And the reason being is that um, the time wise alone would have been 150. Considering this is our first session and you did it, you completed the quests in your own unique way. I'm going to say 200 is a pretty good amount. So start assigning the same amount of experience points to each player based on the lowest amount of effort expended. All right, well, we don't have to worry about that. All right, so accomplishment or achievements, the game has blah blah. All right, so for example, like I said, 200 points, investing experience points.
Okay.
All right, experience points can be used to improve a character in a number of different ways. The three most common ways is to invest them in attribute uh, improvement, skill improvement, or talent acquisition. All right, and so with 200 points, you could increase expertise by +1 or focus by +1. All right.
Interesting.
Yes. So acquiring a tier 1 talent. So talents vary in cost based on where in the talent tree they are. So talents, for example, a discipline tree, courageous, is the first talent and it costs 200 experience points, while jaded is one step away, and so it would also cost a total of 400. So it's exponential building. So you could actually gain a new talent,
Okay.
um, at least an entry level new talent with the experience points. You can increase your expertise or your focus. Now at this time, they are split. So the +1 doesn't apply to both. It applies to just one.
Yeah.
So you can decide whether or not you want to increase your likelihood of momentum generating or increase your likelihood of skill success. So that's how that split measure works. Uh, building up attributes. I want to see uh, where they have increasing attribute. So
It's expensive.
yeah,
So
I would assume it is. So we will look into. You probably have to bank quite a bit. They don't actually go into attributes, do they? Skill improvement, 200 times the target skill rank.
it's just
Oh,
before that.
attributes. Yeah. So an attribute can be increased by 1 point by investing experience points equal to 100 times the new target characteristic. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so you would need like 10,000 experience points to go from like a 10 to an 11 or something crazy like that. So, all right, so that's going to take some time. Um, but interesting enough, all right, now I have, I'm also going to award you, I am going to award you any of the renown. So renown is another thing that we keep track of. And I am going to award you zero point 0.5 renown or half a point of renown.
Okay.
And so you could just mark that on your character sheet, and I'll do the same here. Um, so your renown will be zero point 0.5. Now, renown in this campaign is going to work in the way that based on your overall renown score, you have a score of just like any expertise, it would be
Yeah.
like from 0 to 5, and the number of the amount of renown you have will make it possible for you to gain a certain number of henchmen based on that renown, or a certain quality of henchmen based on that renown.
Yeah.
So, you know, at this point, at you won't get to get a first, follower until your renown is at least a +1. All right. So, and your renown was a result of actually escaping from this particular camp. And so, people are aware that you escaped. And so, that's why you generated renown.
Okay.
Okay, so
All right.
I'll let you pick through the rule book and see, what you're hoping to, how you're going to spend that 200 XP, or if you're going to bank it or whatever.
I'm
Um,
actually going to increase my stealth expertise by one,
okay,
0, because I feel I was trying to hide a lot
right.
and the sight, so it makes sense for him to at least gain a point in stealth.
Okay, yeah,
Uh,
that makes sense. Since you did, like you said, you did quite a bit of, stealth and survival roles. You made, you could spend them however you like, but it does make sense to spend them on things that the skills that you did do most. Um, and you had quite a few momentum gains and everything. I think you're still sitting on something like 5 momentum, if I'm not correct.
I think it's more like 3, but
Oh yeah, because you spent at least 1. So we're going to say your total was 200 experience points. You spent 200 experience points,
yeah,
and I know you used a fortune point, um, but that recovers in time as well.
yeah.
And your current momentum. Let's see if they don't have that on the character sheet, but I'll mark it down here. So momentum currently equals 3. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, quick review. What'd you think so far? Do you like the format of doing it this way, or
Yeah, so
yeah?
far it's been pretty good. Um, so I just have to keep working on, getting some skills up and some task numbers down. But I figure, it's good for a starting character to not be perfect at everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
Uh,
and it's this will give you some time to now look through the PDF and start getting a really good sense of the of the system, and because I don't know how it relates to Mutant Chronicles.
Yeah,
I
it
doubt it's a. Oh, I mean, you could probably tell me
yeah, it's
better.
pretty similar. Um, really is, but there's a few different things in it, like the way like you rather than renown and standing, you're worrying about your light and darkness kind of thing, if I remember correctly.
Oh, that's
But
cool.
it's been a while since I've read through it,
All right.
so. But you're worried about how becoming corrupted by the what do they call them, like the dark symmetry.
Yeah.
And
Is it the same as the movie? The Mute Chronicles
not
movie? Is
at
it based on that at all?
all.
Oh no, it's not based on that or
It was
loosely,
supposed to be, and it was inspired by,
right?
but it's sort of like, hey, I like this artwork. I'm going to make a movie that vaguely looks like this,
All
and
right.
then make up everything else.
Okay.
Uh, and it had very terrible acting from people who I know are good actors. Like they were like, well, crap, it's a paycheck. I'll show up,
Yeah.
but I don't really want to do any work for it, so I'm
Yeah.
just going to
I've
mouth
seen
my
I've
mind.
seen parts of it and I thought it was pretty, I liked certain parts of it,
Yeah.
but
The
I
beginning
I've only
the
seen it once
beginning
or one and a half
it,
times.
the beginning is really close. The way the city looks is really close.
Okay.
The the overblown uniforms like World War I,
Hmm.
like the dress
Oh yeah,
uniforms,
yeah, yeah.
it's very used. But they don't really use coal for spaceships.
Right,
Um, they just have to be careful because certain high technologies symmetry and can be corrupted by it.
right,
So there's not a lot of fancy missiles and stuff people use, even
right.
though it's the future. You're mostly going to be shooting it out with machine guns and lasers and plasma guns and
Correct.
that kind of thing. And not a lot of smart weapons that you can go, hey, look, I've spotted a turret. Oh, God, no, it's been taken over, shooting everybody. Yeah, no. You don't want it too much in the way of computers
Okay.
doing stuff for you.
Well,
So,
that's cool. All right. So thank you very much, Tim, for showing up, and
yeah,
I'm glad to have gotten our very first, done. I will, our first legacy campaign, session one,
yeah,
complete. Um, that's how I, for other people watching this, this is how I anticipate doing these session ones is to have someone come in and they'll run just their solo character and everything revolves around that character's story. And so now we can go back and we can actually see how this all played out. But, I thanked him for, and he pretty much stayed true to his character. And, you know, we'll be able to start to see, a real thing, a real legacy, which is why I, named it this. And the way that they'll be posted on my YouTube is that each one will include the character's name, and that way we can kind of keep track of this. So this will be Legacy Campaign Caith the Cimmerian Parts 1 and Part 2. All right. And so people can go back and follow them, in that particular order. All right. And when the other players come on, when they run through, we're going to do something very similar. I think thematically, using Roll D20 is working pretty well. Um, I don't know about changing the 1 hour per segment because that'll just increase the upload time anyway. So
yeah,
we'll do it this way. So
yeah.
I'm gonna end the recording at exactly 45 minutes on this part two, which is now.